Doreen, I know you've got a big agenda for us today, so I'll let you take it away. As Doreen shares her screen for everybody watching this later, we were just discussing with all of our teachers here about the opportunity for high school students to do virtual internships with Madeleine. So if you have any high school kids that are wanting some real world experience and wanting to learn how to work in a virtual capacity, Rebecca has two of her high schoolers that started their virtual internship with us just last week. And Rebecca, you said they're pretty excited, right? Oh, you're on mute, Rebecca.
Okay, yes. They're super excited and it's super cute and they take it very seriously, which is so fun to see. Like, it's just, when I was a kid, if someone was meeting with me over the phone, I'd be like, what? But these kids, like, that's how they operate anymore.
Yep.
So, good for them. They love it.
Good. I'm glad. So anybody has high schoolers that are interested in some work experience, send them our way. We would love to have them be interns with us. But Doreen, take it away. What's on our agenda today?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about getting students started with the project and how to get them started and how to get them excited about Mattering. We're also going to talk about student handshake dates, and we've decided to group the students into two depending on availability. So we're going to talk about the dates for the student handshakes. Also want to remind everyone about the teacher folder and what to find in there. We'll also talk about, I'd like you to share your experiences on the Madeleine platform if you have been able to explore it yet. And also would want to share with you the theme for this year and the next steps for our next teacher meeting. And please, if you have any questions, I can't really see, so you can type it in the chat box, and I'm sure Alethea will help us respond to those questions. Alethea, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, so talking about getting the students started on Mattering, we want to discuss a few things with you and hear your views on it as well. Want to first start off by having the students complete the student survey if you haven't done that already. I just put a link in here, but you can also find the link in the teacher folder. So please have your students, if you have your students in class, please have them, each student complete the student survey. Is very important, and it would help us to be able to run this project smoothly for the coming years. We also have, Alethea, please, you can stop me if you have anything to say.
Yeah, and Doreen, thank you. I just wanted to add to the survey bit. Folks, there's several reasons to survey teachers and students before a project like this. And one of them, specifically with the students, is to really try to understand what their current mindset is. What are the things that they're thinking about, that they're excited about, that they know about, they don't know about, and seeing how a project like this can change that over time. And this is data that is extremely, extremely important for even you to see. And at the end of the semester, we send an aggregated report so that you can have this as well to share with folks on your end. If it's something you want to share with parents or with other administrators at your school, this is really good data for you to say, look, these are the things that happened over this project and through this project. And this is why this is something that's so important. And really even helping this be something that can be continued year after year, for example. So it is very, very important. Hopefully it won't take more than 5, maybe 10 minutes for the students to fill out. But when you do have them in class for the very first time, please do get this link to them, share it with them. They can each individually fill it out, and we have all of that data that is recorded. And with the students, we don't necessarily do it by name of the student, so they don't have to put their name in. They just identify which school they're from. So Rob, for example, if you wanted to know what the kids at your school particularly were saying or thought at the beginning of the project versus the end of the project, those are things that we can do as well.
Thank you, Alethea. We'll also want to encourage you to get the students excited about the student handshake. Tell them more about it. Just get them excited and looking forward to the handshake, meeting other students and what they should expect. So would encourage you to start talking to your students about the student handshake. Alethea, do you have anything to add to that?
Nope.
Okay. Also talking about the still on the student handshake. We want to talk about what the students should be looking forward to and what they should do in preparation for the handshake. I wanted to come up with creative ways of introducing themselves and introducing their schools as well, and also sharing what matters to them, all in 30 seconds. So each student has 30 seconds to tell us about themselves, tell us about their school, a little about their school, and tell us about what matters to them. So it would be great if you could get your students to start thinking about creative ways to introduce themselves and their school to the other students.
Absolutely, Doreen. And one of the things here, folks, just as a quick question, do we all know what we're trying to accomplish with the student handshake? And Rob, I know you're asking about the date. We're going to come to that in just a second. We have to finalize that today. But with the student handshake, are we all pretty clear on what we're trying to accomplish and why this is something we want to do at the beginning of the project?
No.
Okay, great. I'm glad you said that, Rebecca. So the goal here, just as when you and I meet in person, Rebecca, we're shaking hands, we're introducing ourselves, we're putting a face to a name, and we're also able to build a little bit of a relationship with each other. That's a lot easier to do when you're in person, when you do a field trip somewhere, or when you have kids meet in school. It's a much easier thing to do. In a project like this that's virtual and that involves the kids working with each other that are in different parts of the world, having that virtual handshake that happens at the beginning is something that we're hoping really helps connect the students to each other, even though they've never met before or they're not in the same class. So the way that we can explain it to students is really just like that, which is it's a virtual version of meeting somebody in person and shaking hands and saying hello. But because we have so many classrooms, the good news is each of our classes are smaller. So we have several of our classes have less than 7 or 8 kids, or 7 or 8 kids, and a few of, Rob, I think yours is a little bit bigger, and Rebecca, you said you have 10 to 15, right? Or 15 to 20? Right. So we should have enough time. Rebecca, you were on mute there, so I think I missed you. Okay, we're good. Okay. So we should have enough time to actually have each student. Our idea was each kid can create their own name board, right? However they want to do that, if they want to use technology to do it, if they want to use a physical cardboard, whatever, they can be as creative as they want. But the idea is when I hold up a piece of paper, and let's say this is my piece of paper that says Alethea, while I'm talking for my 30 seconds, the kids are seeing my face and my name together, so they can actually maybe remember it a little bit better, as opposed to me just saying, I'm Alethea, blah, 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 and then there's no way I'm remembering. So the idea is we have each student come up to the video. They have a little thing that has their name on it, and they're doing a little bit of a presentation. It can be a rap, it could be a poem, it could be a song, it could be a play, whatever they want to do. They have 30 seconds to introduce themselves. Right? And at the beginning of that, each class, we actually, and this is something, teachers, you can do, or you can get the kids to organize this as well. At the beginning, we'd like to do a minute school introduction. So Rob, you take a minute at the beginning to introduce Colegio Lumen, right? And your school, where are you? Who are you? Rebecca, you do the same with your school. Laura, you do the same with your school. So you guys introduce your school, and then the kids come in and they actually say who they are, and they talk a little bit about themselves. And let them be creative, right? Let them figure out who they are, figure out what they like, figure out what they want other people around the world to know. But the idea being that they can put a face to a name, and it'll be recorded so they could go back and watch it if they want. But later, a few weeks later, when they're working on an app with Doreen and with Alethea and with Rob, they can remember a little bit about who those people are, or at least know that they're real human beings, as opposed to this virtual name that they're not even sure exists. So that's the goal. Does that make sense, Rebecca? Okay, excellent. Rob, Laura, are we good on that in terms of the theory behind the handshake?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can say actually it was with Laura, I think last year, that for me, or for my students rather, that was really one of the highlights, I think, of the entire thing. It actually happened later this last year. It happened near the end. That was something that was a lot of the other kids that weren't part of Mad About Mattering were upset that they weren't. So it was something that was they really enjoyed that, I think, when we connected.
Yeah, when we Skype, my students too, they really enjoyed it. And after that, and it was later, so I wish we had done it a little earlier.
Good, good. And we heard that, right? We heard that as feedback from you guys, and we decided to switch that this year to make sure we do it at the beginning and at the end. So this is an example. Rebecca, you haven't seen this, but this is an example of what it'll actually look like, right? We'll all be on video. You'll see kids in different boxes, and they'll come up and they'll be able to introduce themselves and say hello. You can see Rob there in the corner. I don't think, Laura, you're in one of these shots, but you were absolutely a part of this event. So you can kind of get a feel, Rebecca, for what that will be. Okay, great. Doreen, go ahead.
Thank you, Alethea, and thanks everyone for all your contributions. So the next thing we're going to talk about is getting the room ready for the student handshake. So usually we want everything to be set up and ready to go before we actually start the handshake, or we actually let them meet each other. We want everything to be ready and set. And so we want, before, ahead of time, we would like for you to come into the room, the virtual room, and make sure that everything is set up correctly and properly, so that we don't waste too much time getting set up whilst the project is going on. And so first of all, we also want you to just go around and make sure that your computers are working properly, your sound is working properly, all your cameras are working properly. So if you could come in at least about 30 minutes before the handshake starts, and make sure that to just go through a sound check, a video check. I will be in the room. I'm usually in the room about an hour or even more before the time. And so you can use me as to practice and make sure that the room is set up correctly and everything is ready to go for the handshake. Alethea, anything to add to that?
Just a couple things. Laura, I did see your question. Very, very glad you clarified that. We are doing our handshakes live this year, so it's not going to be a recording that the students share with each other. It's going to be a live meeting just like this, and the students will come in and have 30 seconds each to introduce themselves and meet the rest of the group. One thing, and you can tell me what you think about this and if this will get too crazy in terms of logistics, but does it make the most sense for us to have one classroom go fully at a time and then hand over to another classroom and they all go fully? Okay, so we'll do it that way. So let's say, Rob, we start with you introduce your school, your kids introduce themselves, and then when you're done, you can hand over to Laura, and Laura can do the same with her school and her kids. Okay, great. In terms of the, getting your room ready, you want to find a space in your school that is, of course, big enough to host all the kids that are going to be there. If it is something that you want to invite parents and other teachers and other students to view as well, absolutely feel free to do that. If you have a larger space or a larger, auditorium type space where it can be kind of a more public event, you can invite other people in the school to come and watch, and they can be sitting sort of in the background, but your students who are participating are in front of the camera and able to see clearly. So, it could be in your little classroom, it could be in a larger space if you have more people coming. But the big thing that you want to make sure that you have is a large screen, some sort of a projector, some sort of a large monitor screen, so that the kids can see each other well. And you want to have this kind of a view where it can be a larger view for the kids. And if you have, depending on what device you're using that has the camera, just make sure that's set up in a way that the kids know where to look when they're talking, and be able to face the camera as they are talking, because that's what everybody else is going to be seeing. So it's good to practice that a little bit. Doreen can set us up with some practice Zoom rooms, so you can come in and have the kids on there and practicing and get comfortable with it. But again, this is also part of the presentation skills, part of the virtual work skills that we want for them to be exposed to. And the last point on here was just, if you can, have a nice backdrop, maybe have your school banner or logo or something. If the kids want to create it, that's even better. They can put something together that represents who they are. So that's what the frame of your camera screen is for everybody else to see.
Yeah, last year was it was a nice touch. A lot of the schools, I think all the schools did that. They had a logo of their school as a backdrop, and it added a very nice touch to it. So it would be nice if we could do that this year as well.
Absolutely. Any questions on that, folks? Okay, excellent.
Okay, so now to the student handshake date options. Since all students won't be in at the same time, won't be available for the handshake at the same time, we decided to group them into two. So depending on which group works best for you, we have group one will be meeting on Thursday, February 22nd, 2018. And the second group will meet on Tuesday, February 27th, also this year. So what we'll do is you choose which date works for you, and then we'll decide on a time that works for everyone. Does that make sense?
Yes, Doreen, it does. Quick question, guys. Is there not a way for all of us to be on the same one? Is there any way that we can find the same date and can all of us get to, because it'll be so much more of a rich experience if the kids can see all 3 or 4 or 5 classrooms together. Okay, so 22nd is out for Laura. 27th works for Rob. Laura, does 27th work for you? Okay, great. And Rebecca, what about 27th?
I can do whichever. My kids actually only meet on Monday or Wednesday, so I'll just pull them all out of class.
Got it. Okay.
As long as it's during the school day.
Okay, so let's talk about, the good thing is all 3 of you guys are here and all 3 of you are on the same time zone. So why don't we at least, I know, Doreen, we're missing 3 of our teachers right now, but let's at least see if we can get Rebecca, Laura, and Rob on the same day at the same time, where all 3 of these classrooms can at least, hopefully the other 3 can join that same time, but let's at least finalize this one group so that these 3 classrooms can be, participate together. So let's talk about times for the 27th of February, which is a Tuesday. Is that right?
Correct.
Oh, Rob, you're 2 hours ahead now. I forgot about that. My bad. Okay, during the 27th is a Monday. So Monday's a no-go for Rebecca?
The 27th is a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, Alethea.
The 27th is a Tuesday.
You're right. I was looking at the wrong month. You are correct. Tuesday, February 27th. Let's talk about times. Rob, Laura, Rebecca, what are some times that will be best for you to have hopefully 100% of your Mad About Mattering kids available?
Well, if 100% of my kids are in school that day,
yeah,
then I can go anytime from probably 8 a.m. I don't have any. Yeah, anytime from probably 8 a.m. to 12:30 or 1.
Okay. 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Rebecca. Laura, what about you?
I can do 8 or 8:30. That's when school starts for us, until 12 when they go to lunch, or 1 until 4. So it's just an hour break.
Okay. Rob, tell us about your times, given that you said you're 2 hours ahead now.
Right. So my electives class is at 10:40 my time, which is 8:40 your time, Eastern Standard Time. And that goes for about, well, I actually have 2 periods. One is the younger group, and one is the older group. That's so grade 9 and 10 first 40 minutes, and grade 11 and 12 the second 40 minutes. So it ends at noon, which is 10 your time. So basically 8:40 to 10 o'clock.
And is that on Tuesday?
That's on Tuesday. Yeah,
Okay.
It works out well. That's exactly the day I have my, and I was going to say that day works probably the best for me because as I mentioned last week, my students have a chance to change their electives for the first 2 weeks. So they will already have had 1 week with the electives. I can kind of use the Friday class. They meet Tuesdays and Fridays. I can use the Friday class to kind of prepare them for Tuesday. And I think they should be ready by Tuesday. They technically, some of them may change their mind, but I think at that point, I would say at least 60 or 70% would probably have their mind. So that works well.
Now, Rob, is there a way for you to merge those two classes for that day so that the kids are present for the whole time, or will that be difficult?
It'll be difficult. I wouldn't say it's impossible,
Okay.
but yes, because the schedules change. So the senior students, the grade 11s and 12s, have different classes, and I would literally have to talk to all of their, because it's an elective class. So
Got it.
some of them, they come from different grades, different sections. I'll have to talk to all the teachers individually. But it is possible. It's just
right. And that's a good, Laura, that's a great suggestion. So we can time it so that, Rob, you're going kind of straddled between both of those, or maybe we can just do you as two different classes. Well, we can figure it out. Okay. So how about we do 8:30 to 10 a.m. on the 27th? So it's an hour and a half block. That gives us an opportunity to have all students be able to come up on screen and participate and say hello. And I would love for us to think about maybe some fun icebreaker or game-like thing that might also be possible, and let's talk about that. But is it, one, can we have the kids for an hour and a half? Does 8:30 to 10 a.m. on Tuesday, February 27th work? Rob, knowing that you will only have half kids for for the beginning and for the end, and that's okay. Rebecca, Laura, what do you think?
It works for me fine. I have high school students, and many of them are upperclassmen.
Okay.
So they may or may not be willing to be uncool with your icebreakers.
Yeah, I agree. And so, we may not do that at all.
I mean, I'll force you to, but just so you know.
You guys know your students best, so we can figure out what will be good for the kids. And if it is just them expressing themselves in whatever way they want to do it, and we leave it entirely up to them and they get creative, and then whatever happens. That's part of a project like this. Laura, does that work? 8:30 to 10? Okay, Doreen, we have a winner. February 27th, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. is going to be our first student handshake. We have at least 3 of our teachers that can participate. Hopefully the other 3 can make it work at that same time. If not, we'll figure out something else.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Excellent. Great. Love the collaboration and figuring this out. Doreen, what's next?
I just want to remind everyone about the teacher folder and the fact that I'll be putting all videos and PowerPoint presentations there. It's your one-stop place for all surveys and videos, as well as the PowerPoint presentations or any other document that I find relevant for teachers. That's your go-to place. Just a reminder. Do we have any questions? Okay. Well, now I want to ask everyone about the Madeleine platform. Have you explored it yet, and what do you think? Any observations? Any questions for us? Rob, you want to go first?
I didn't do my homework. Well, I checked it out last year. I actually did, I think, stick my head in, but I've been kind of, I don't know, moving and doing other things. I haven't actually, gone in and really absorbed. Are there a lot of changes over last year's?
Yes.
Oh, tons. Rob, you're going to be blown away.
Okay. I look forward to doing that for next week.
Okay. Laura, do you have any questions? Have you explored it yet?
I spoke to Kim on the phone, and I'm waiting for access to the site.
Laura, I'm just making a note. We will go ahead and make sure you get your licenses confirmed so that you can participate. We would love to have you be able to do that. So we will get on that and hopefully have something to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
How about Rebecca? Have you had a chance to?
So my kids have been using it. We've been using the Mad Learn curriculum. I just went ahead and started teaching them the basic curriculum. So they did mind mapping today, and they're having a great time.
Good. Excellent. Rebecca, any questions or issues or things with, as the kids are in, anything that we can help with?
No, we had some, I think, integration issues with the Chromebook. Like maybe they had a pop-up blocker on or basic stuff like that. But I think we sorted it all out.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Awesome. All right, I'll let Olivia talk about the theme for this year. Olivia, would you want to?
I'm happy to. I'm happy to. So folks, you know, we talked a little bit about the theme for this year, the fact that every year that we've done the project, we've had a different theme. And we really like to pick themes that are connected to who we are and what we're doing at that moment, and also exciting and something that would be really relevant for the students and for you as teachers. So this is something that we came up with, and we've actually been using this internally within our team since the year began, and we thought it would be a really interesting and fun topic and theme for the students as well. And we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback, and if we need to tweak this or if we have other ideas on what might be a different theme or a better theme, please do share. That's what this collaboration is about. But the theme that we came up with for this year is "This is our year." And we can make it a hashtag "This is our year" if we want. But the idea and the concept behind this is, if your students, and kind of posing this question to the kids, if all you had was this year to make a difference, to do something that mattered, what would you do? What would your idea be? What would the app be that you build? What is the difference that you would make? What is the mark that you would leave if this was your year and your only year to do that? And part of it is thinking about a little bit of an existential conversation maybe that might arise from something like this, where the kids are thinking about, you know, what's my purpose? What's my goal? What's, you know, how do I make a difference in, you know, with this one life that I have? But part of it is thinking about action and action now, right? It's not, I have this big lofty goal for when I'm 40, or I have this big lofty goal for when I get to college. It's now, and this is my time, and this is our year. And not my, but our, right? And thinking about the collaborative aspect of that, and posing that question of, if this is the only year that you had to make a difference, what would you do this year, and how can you create things and think of ideas that are severely helping and impacting things that you care about and that you're passionate about? What are your thoughts on that? What do you think of this being something that you think kids would be excited about, that you can drive sort of the inspiration and the motivation around with your students to have be the theme for the ideas that they come up with and the apps that they build through this project that is, of course, Mad About Mattering?
I like it. I think that's a good way to kind of focus on the now, and that kind of brings to the fore sort of the immediacy of making a difference, like right now. And I don't know, I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Well done.
I like it too.
Yes, Rebecca. Okay, good. I'm glad. And you know, if we have modifications to this or other additions that will be helpful, let's absolutely, you know, put our ideas in and finalize on something that we're all passionate about and excited about. But when we were discussing it, you know, we've been one of the ideas that we had thought of earlier was this concept of don't just say something, do something, right? And I think that also applies to this, right? It's, you know, like take the world by the horns and do something with it and make it count. And that's, you know, that's kind of what we were thinking about there. Laura, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I liked it. I already started picking the kids' brains about things, and it's easier for them to, I guess, bring to light issues that are going on versus solutions. So I think it'd be a good way to push them to think about how they could take action.
Great. Okay, excellent. So we will, of course, for the teachers who aren't on today, you know, the slides and the recording will be available. So this is what we are going to have be our driving theme for the year. This is our year. And Doreen, if we can put that in various places on the slides, of course, on Slack and different places as well, so we all know that and remember that, and we can start to build questions and conversations around how we can discuss this with students in a way that's helpful. So teachers, I would encourage you, please do on Slack, you know, respond to each other, pose questions. If you're talking to your kids about this theme, the theme for this project is "This is our year." What are some things that you're saying to the kids or questions that you're asking them that are helpful, please post those on Slack. Other teachers can absolutely benefit from that as well. And any ideas that you have, or if you want help from each other on how to do ABC, please do post those on Slack so we can all be there to support each other and provide resources collectively. Great, good. Doreen, what's next?
So we're just going to talk about next steps for next week and this week and next week. I just want to remind everyone, if you have not as yet had your students complete this pre-student survey, please have them do that as soon as possible. And if you haven't yourselves completed the teacher surveys, please make time to complete that as well. Just reminding everyone to encourage your students and just get them excited about the student handshake, tell them about it, tell them why we think it's important for them to meet each other, and just get them excited about meeting each other and preparing for that meeting, finding creative ways of making the student handshake exciting. Also, like we said last week, Greg would need all your students' roster. So each student taking part in the project, please get your students' information to Greg, and the email address to send it to is success@madeleine.com. And we want Slack to be as interactive as possible. So please, when I post on Slack, I'd love it to hear your feedback and just ask questions if you have any. And let's try to make Slack as interactive and as useful as possible. Alethea, I don't know if you have anything else to add to these.
Just one thing, which is a reminder, teachers, that we are meeting bi-weekly for our teacher meetings. So every other week is when we are going to have our scheduled teacher meetings. But that doesn't mean that we can't talk and communicate and ask questions as we go during that 2-week period. So we're meeting today. Our next meeting is on February 19th at 6:30 p.m. Please do confirm that you'll be there whenever we get close to that time, and let us know whether you're going to be there or not. And also during these next 2 weeks, these are some things that we've put together as sort of to-dos. Rob, I know your kids only get in a little bit later, but for everybody to have this as a list of to-dos over the next 2 weeks. And if you have things that you're already doing with your kids that you're finding useful and helpful, put those ideas in Slack, let other people see. It's always helpful to learn from the team. So don't hesitate to do that at all. Rebecca, I know you said you've already started, especially since your kids had not had MadLearn experience before, you've gotten them into MadLearn. They're making some apps and getting experience with it before they get started with everybody else. So that's a great call, great thing to do. Oh, it's your birthday, Rob, on the 19th.
Cool.
Excellent, great. So that is the plan for the next few weeks. And let's make sure we can answer any questions before we adjourn today. Rob, Laura, Rebecca, any questions? Doreen, if you can flip us back maybe to the plan slide, just one back, so we can all see that as we think about the next 2 weeks of planning that we have. Doreen, if you can take us back one slide, please. Laura, tell us, what are some questions you have?
So last year I did the Mad About Mattering as an after-school program, and it was very difficult because I was only seeing them for an hour once a week. So this year I have a teacher teaching. I don't teach, but there's a teacher who teaches computer science, and she's basically lending me her class when I need to for this during the school day. And so we went in this week and did the student surveys, and I just wanted to know if there was a way to confirm whether all the students submitted the surveys or not. Is there a place where I have a list of the kids who haven't or have done it?
Very good question. Doreen, can you help Laura with that and help her see all of her students that did fill it out, and if there's any stragglers, she can address that?
Yes, I will do that. I will just check and let you know, Laura. I'll send you a list of those who completed the survey.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. And I actually just noticed that we have, is that Miss Angelique?
Yes, hello.
Hello, hello. I'm Alethea Bhatia. It's nice to meet you. How are you?
Good, I'm very good. I had a hard time getting onto the call.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that that you figured it out. That is good stuff. And hopefully, the next time it'll be a lot simpler. If you need our help with any of that, just let us know.
So I ended up calling Greg, and I wasn't actually added to the invite. So
Oh, that's why. Okay,
yes,
Doreen, please, can you fix that for Miss Angelique?
I am so sorry, Miss Angelique. I'll add you. I'll add
thank
you.
you.
Oh my, I'm sorry about that. We will fix it. We will fix it. Doreen, can you stop screen share for just a minute so we can see full screen, and let's all introduce ourselves to Angelique. And this is our new teacher from Amana Academy, which is a school in Georgia that is participating in Mad About Mattering. So can everybody see, Angelique, if you click on the top right of your screen, there should be a button that says Gallery View. If you click on that, you'll be able to see everybody.
Okay,
It's like
yes.
the big Brady Bunch.
Yes, I see
Okay,
it.
great. Doreen, why don't you start off with introducing yourself, and then we can just go around the room.
Hi, Angelique. My name is Doreen Banduma, and I'm the project manager for Mad About Mattering. It's nice to have you on here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Rob?
Hi, my name is Rob Young, and I'm teaching computer science at Colegio Lumen School in sunny Paraguay in South America.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Rob. Rebecca, go ahead.
I have to unmute. My name's Rebecca. I am in charge, I guess, of Delaware Design Lab High School, and so I have corralled a group of our students who will be learning this with me.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm an instructional coach and STEM specialist at Curtis Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy. It's a long name, but it's an all-girls school in Atlanta, 6 through 12. And I actually also work at an all-boys school, 6 through 12. So I'm trying to.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that, Laura. Yes, excellent. And Angelique, introduce yourself to us. Tell us about you.
All right, I'm Angelique Barnett, and I'm the STEM coordinator at Amana Academy, which is in Alpharetta, Georgia, so not far from Atlanta. And we have a K through 8 school.
Excellent. And Angelique, which group of students are you going to be doing Mad About Mattering with? Do you know what, and just tell us a little bit about their grade, how many kids you have?
So it's 8th graders, and it's about 36 students right now.
Wow, lovely. And how often do you see your kids?
Every other day.
Brilliant. Okay, excellent. That is great to hear. And Angelique, just so you know, Rob and Laura were a part of the project last year, so they're second time participants in Mad About Mattering. So they're great resources to ask questions and be able to kind of figure things out with, because they've had some experience with it before. And Rebecca and you are our first time Mad About Mattering teachers, so you'll have a lot of wonderful things that you'll be experiencing with us this year as well. You're survivors. And Angelique, I'm Alethea Bhatia. I'm the CEO of MathLearn and a big fan of all of the amazing things that all of you teachers do daily. So you'll see me on most of these teacher meetings. Unless I'm on a plane, I will be on these teacher meetings every other week when we have them.
Okay, well, it's great to meet everybody, and I'm glad I finally made it onto the call.
We are as well. Angelique, and we do have this recorded. So, please do, if you have a few minutes, even now after we adjourn today, please go back and watch the recording so you can see the pieces in the beginning that we missed. But the highlights are we have figured out some time for our student handshake video, which is a time and a place for the kids to virtually shake hands and say hello and meet each other. So we figured out the time for that. Doreen can fill you in. Doreen, maybe if you can schedule some time with Angelique to catch her up with everything that has happened so far and make sure she knows exactly what we're doing moving forward, that would be phenomenal. and we can have a wonderful next 2 weeks. Our next teacher meeting is going to be on the 19th of February at 6:30 p.m. Just like this, Angelique, you will have the calendar invite this time, so you'll know exactly
I
exactly where
invited
to.
you, Angelique, so you should have it. You should have the invite now. Please confirm that you have it. I just invited you.
Great. I see you nodding. You're on mute, Angelique, but we see you nodding. Great. Laura, I don't see you or Angelique on Slack. Are you guys on the Mad About Mattering Slack channel?
I just joined. I thought that maybe that was how I needed to join the call, so I just joined today.
Great. Great. And that is, Angelique, that's a place, it's basically a chat room for us to be able to talk to each other and message each other, ask each other questions, share updates, let people know if you can make it or not make it, anything like that. Slack is the place to do that. And Laura is on as well. She just messaged. Excellent. Great. I'm glad to see that. And please do, everybody, download the Slack app on your phone, or you can have it open on your computer, the Slack app on your computer as well, whatever's convenient for you. But it's a very, and Rob can attest to this, Laura can attest to this, it's a very critical communication tool, since we are all remote and we're all in different cities and different countries. It is a very, very important thing for us to use to be able to stay in sync. So please do.
I was going to say, plus it's a great chance to get to know everyone better too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very true. Doreen, was there anything else before we adjourn today?
No, I think that was it. I think we talked about everything we needed to talk about. Just remember that I'm going to put the recording up on the teacher folder. I'll send you the link, and I'll also include the presentation for today. So you can take your time and just go over everything we've discussed today.
Perfect. Excellent. I am glad to hear that, Doreen. Rebecca, Laura, Angelique, Rob, any questions before we adjourn? No. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Angelique, were you saying anything?
Oops. No, I was just saying that I'll have to watch the video to see what's going on.
Yes. And please do, Angelique, there's a few recordings if you actually can watch all of those so you can catch yourself up. Doreen will share with you the link to the folder that has all of the historical recordings so you can watch those and know what the conversations have been so far. And of course, watch the rest of today's meeting as well.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, we will adjourn our meeting for today, and everybody have a wonderful evening and wonderful dinner time and all kinds of bedtime stories that we'll have. But have a great evening, everybody. We will see you live again in 2 weeks, and we will see you on Slack tomorrow.
You
Bye.
too, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Doreen. Bye.